What the heck is going on with Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman? That's a question and I think a lot of other people have been asking since a New York Magazine profile came out late last week that had some honestly really troubling details in it. Now, at the center of that New York Magazine piece was a guy named Adam Gentleson, who was Fetterman's former chief of staff. He left in February of 2024. And Gentleson sent an email to Fetterman's doctors. Remember, Fetterman had been hospitalized at Walter Reed Medical Center for depression in 2023. So Gentleson sends a long email, 1,600-word email to Fetterman's doctors that the reporter, this guy named Ben Terrace at New York Magazine, got his hands on. So I just want to read one paragraph from both the email and what Terrace wrote about it. Gentleson's 1,600-word email came with the subject line concerns, and it contained a list of them, from the seemingly mundane, he eats fast food multiple times a day, to the scary, we do not know if he is taking his meds, and his behavior frequently suggests he is not. We often see the kind of warnings we discussed, Gentleson wrote, conspiratorial thinking, megalomania. For example, he claims to be the most knowledgeable source on Israel and Gaza around, but his sources are just what he reads in the news. He declines most briefings and never reads memos. High highs and low lows, long, rambling, repetitive, and self-centered monologues, lying in ways that are painfully, awkwardly obvious to everyone in the room. Now, this is a really tough subject, right? Again, Fetterman is a guy who everyone has an opinion about. And let's just do a little history of him. He was the mayor of a smallish town in Pennsylvania. He gets elected lieutenant governor. In 2022, he runs for the U.S. Senate. He is winning that race against Mehmet Oz, the TV doctor, and now a member of Donald Trump's administration. And he has a stroke. Fetterman has a stroke relatively late on in that race. It's clear now that the effects of the stroke were much more severe than we knew. And the main one is auditory. He struggles to understand in real time what someone is saying to him. So he has a device that keeps a running transcript that he can read off of. He comprehends everything. It's just an auditory issue. Okay, so Fetterman gets elected, and Republicans spend a lot of time both in the fall campaign of 2022 and then afterward, 2023, 2024, basically saying, like, this guy isn't up to the job. Like, terrible that he had a stroke, but he can't really do the job, okay? And liberals, Democrats, think Fetterman is amazing. This guy is the new Bernie Sanders, right? He's an iconoclast. He's a 6'8", bald-headed guy. He wears gym shorts and hoodies around in the Senate. This is what we need, like a real human, a real authentic person who's very comfortable in his own skin. And then all of that takes a turn in 2023 when Fetterman enters into Walter Reed to deal with depression. Okay, he comes out, and since then, he's become sort of a political football in a lot of ways. So his positions, I don't want to say they've changed, but what's clear is Fetterman is an extremely strong ally of Israel. He is much more willing than other Democrats to work with Donald Trump. Just two examples. He was the only Democratic senator to meet with Trump after the 2024 election. He voted for 10 of Trump's 18 cabinet nominees, including Pam Bondi, the attorney general, who most Senate Democrats voted against. And so this has led to now Republicans, or at least MAGA world, saying Fetterman's the best. He's our favorite Democrat. He's an honest guy standing up for his constituents. And the liberal left feeling betrayed that Fetterman was supposed to be the next Bernie Sanders, and instead he's the next Joe Manchin. Okay, so that's the backdrop for this New York Magazine piece. And I'm going to talk more about the piece and how I think we should think about and talk about Fetterman going forward. But before I do that, I do want to make a pitch to you. I want you to subscribe to this channel. It is easy. You just hit the subscribe button. Why is it important? I'll tell you why. Independent journalism is critically important and also really hard. But I am committed to doing this. I am independent in two ways. I'm independent from billionaire owners and giant corporations that own media companies, okay? I'm my own boss. I make these videos based on what I want to talk about and give you my opinion without any filter. I'm also independent from the two political parties. I'm not a partisan. I spent 20 plus years working at the Washington Post and CNN. I've always said I'm calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform, Republican or Democrat, the batter at the plate is wearing. And I think that's critically important, and I hope I have your support. Okay, so I've set sort of the stage. Fetterman has been a controversial figure, a figure some people love, a figure some people hate, but he has battled both physical illness, the aftermath of his stroke, and mental illness with his depression. All right, so the New York Magazine story drops. It paints, I would say, a scary picture for Fetterman, right? It suggests he is unpredictable, unstable, and I think people worry about him. Now, Fetterman has said, look, this is an attack job. This guy, Adam Gentleson, his former chief of staff, has a grudge against him. None of this stuff is true. He's been checked out with his doctors. Okay. I mean, I don't see what Adam Gentleson's grudge would be, but fine. If Fetterman thinks that, that's fine. What I will say, though, is there have been a number of episodes that I think would be concerning. So last year, Fetterman got in a car crash. He rear-ended an older woman, a 60-plus-year-old woman. She wound up going to the hospital. She was fine, but it was his fault. That was part of a bigger Washington Post investigation where Fetterman has been cited for speeding and distracted driving a number of times over the years. Okay, again, in a vacuum, fine, right? Plenty of people, I mean, not fine, bad. You should not speed. You should not be a distracted driver, but that's not evidence of a decline back into maybe more of an active mental illness. Then there was an episode more recently where Fetterman got into it with a pilot on a flight. He was flying to Pittsburgh because he would not visibly show that he was wearing his seatbelt. Again, a little strange, right? Like you're a U.S. senator, you know eyes are on you. And then I want to read you something that happened really recently. This is last week. This is the Associated Press. Democratic Senator John Fetterman was meeting last week with representatives from a teachers' union in his home state when things quickly devolved. Before long, Fetterman began repeating himself, shouting and questioning why, quote, everybody is mad at me, why does everybody hate me, what did I ever do, and slamming his hands on the desk, according to one person who was briefed on what occurred. As the meeting deteriorated, a staff member moved to end it and ushered the visitors into the hallway where she broke down crying. I mean, again, in a vacuum, it's not a great look. I'm not suggesting like senators should go about doing that or anyone should go about doing that, but like, okay, he had a bad day. The problem is the Gentleson accusations, the car crash, and then the driving accusations, the confrontation with the airline pilot, and now this, it feels like a pattern here. Now, I am not a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm not diagnosing John Fetterman, but what I would say is, like, as someone who struggled with anxiety and mental illness in my past, you are not always the best person to diagnose how you're doing. And so Fetterman saying he's fine, you know, I mean, and this is all just a grudge. You know, I would suggest that the evidence that's come out makes me think maybe there's more here. Now, some people are saying Fetterman should resign. He should step down for the good of, sort of for his own good. There are Republicans who say, look, this is all just a Democratic liberal scheme. They don't like that Fetterman is sort of more open to Donald Trump and MAGA policies, and willing to work with him. They just want senators who fight all the time, and they are leaking his personal medical details to make their case politically. Again, I hate the political football nature of this. We're talking about a guy who has struggled, again, with physical and mental illness in the last few years. I don't love that we are talking about, well, liberals are talking about needing to primary Fetterman. We need to run someone against him because he's not a real liberal. And first of all, he's not up until 2028, so it's a little bit premature anyway. And Republicans are saying, well, this is just all about liberals being unhappy. At essence here, we're talking about a human being who, from my lights, looks like he's having at least some bad days, and maybe more than that. Maybe he's actually actively struggling no matter what he says. You know, I am a Fetterman fan. I've said this before. Not because I agree or disagree with his policies, but because I do think he's sort of a refreshing voice, a refreshing look, a bald 6'8" guy in athletic shorts and a hoodie who speaks his mind and is not unwilling to work across the aisle. I think those are good things in American politics that we need more of. We need less kind of, very packaged and protected politicians. That's why this all worries me. Is I am a fan. I want voices like his to be able, Republicans or Democrats, to be able to do well and to prosper. And it does not seem to me, just based on what I'm reading in the reporting, that John Fetterman is prospering. So I don't know exactly what the solution is here. I hope that people don't start calling on him to resign. I don't think that's the right thing. I think structure may actually help him. But it seems to me there's enough smoke here that it suggests there may be some fire, and I just hope that he and those people close to him look at that hard. Okay, thank you for listening. As always, I ask you to subscribe as I did earlier. I ask you to like and comment on this video. Like, just give it a thumbs up. Comment if you have a thought. Obviously, this is a sensitive topic, so I hope you'll be sensitive about it. Both liking and commenting help more people see my stuff. I'm now over 80,000 subscribers, which is amazing. The more people who see my stuff, I hope the more people who like it to get an independent perspective, calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing. Last thing I ask you to do, tell a friend, tell a colleague, hey, there's this guy making these videos. I think you would benefit from them, or you'd be interested in them. I make 8-ish a week. I also do a live stream every Friday. There will be a live stream on Friday, which is tomorrow. So I hope you check that out. Okay, everyone, take care.